Tens of thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square, the air thick with silence and candlelight. The Argentine flag lay folded beside a portrait of a man who had touched the world. Inside the chapel, Maria Elena Bergoglio, the Pope's sister, held his handwritten will. Her voice trembled as she read, "I leave no material wealth, but I leave you an immeasurable treasure." In that moment, tears filled the eyes of his family, not for the absence of inheritance, but for the realization of what he had truly left behind, a life lived entirely in service, humility, and truth. From Buenos Aires to the Vatican-born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in 1936 in the working-class neighborhood of Flores, Buenos Aires, Francis grew up in a modest home filled with discipline, faith, and compassion. His father was a railway accountant, his mother a devoted homemaker. As the eldest of 5 children, Jorge learned responsibility early. He played football in the streets, worked odd jobs as a bouncer and janitor, and studied chemical engineering before an unexpected spiritual awakening at 21 led him to join the Jesuits. That single decision would shape the rest of his life, one built not on ambition, but on surrender. The humble path to leadership. Ordained a priest in 1969, Bergoglio rose through the church ranks during one of Argentina's most turbulent eras. Even as Archbishop of Buenos Aires, he rejected privilege, choosing to live in a small apartment, cook his own meals, and ride public buses. The people called him the bishop everyone has seen on the subway. When elected Pope in 2013, he took the name Francis after Saint Francis of Assisi, a man who gave up everything to serve the poor. From his first day in Rome, he broke tradition. No red shoes, no palace, no pomp. He lived simply in Casa Santa Marta, reminding the world that faith means living, not displaying. A will beyond wealth. In his final will, Francis left his family not possessions, but principles. 3 instructions defined his legacy: never accept gifts or favors in his name, never profit from his image, and continue living simply. It was a will stripped of luxury, but rich in integrity, a final lesson from a man who had lived by example. His sister later said, "He left us nothing to divide, but something to keep with honor." For the Bergoglio family, it was both a comfort and a calling, to protect his name not with power, but with humility. The price of integrity. Francis faced fierce criticism throughout his papacy, from his handling of scandals to his calls for compassion toward marginalized communities. Yet, he never wavered. He fought corruption within the church, demanded financial transparency, and spoke boldly about the environment, poverty, and human dignity. His teachings in Laudato Si and Fratelli Tutti weren't just religious documents, but moral blueprints for humanity. "No one should be denied love," he said, summing up the core of his faith, a faith rooted in empathy, not judgment. The legacy of light. At his funeral, the world didn't mourn a pontiff. It mourned a man who had lived exactly as he preached. Across continents, from janitors in Rio to students in Nairobi, people lit candles and read his words. His sister, standing quietly in the crowd, said it best: "We are not mourning a pope. We are mourning a brother." What Pope Francis left behind was not a fortune, but a moral inheritance, proof that the greatest treasure is a life lived honestly. His final message, played in his own voice, echoed through the square. "If I leave you anything, it is the conviction that goodness has a place in this world, and that, the conviction of goodness, is the treasure that made the world cry."